Ganzai, Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, honourable members, I have a matter of urgent public importance that I am taking for the leaders of this House to suspend our relevant rules, to take it as a matter of urgent public importance, and then further crave the leaders of this House to take it now. The matter is with regard to the need to report the instances attacks of the Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast zone. I so move.
Federal constituency. The Speaker, I stand to support this very, very important and urgent motion as moved by the Chief Whip of the House. Thank you.
Aside Honorable Benila, which one of you?
He's a father in this House. I so second the motion as moved by the Chief Whip of this House. Honorable Asai Osai, local party federal constituency.
Chief Whip, give us a quick synopsis.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, and it is in the public domain that as a result of the gallantry exhibited by the Nigerian Armed Forces when this administration came into being in 2015, relative peace has been achieved in the Northeast to the extent that territories that are hitherto under the firm control and jurisdiction of the Boko Haram insurgents have been liberated and normal activities have resumed. But I want to regret to announce that of recent there is resurgence in the activities of the Boko Haram insurgents to the extent of threatening the territorial integrity of this country, as manifested by the consistent attack on the Maiduguri-Damaturu Road. And this Maiduguri-Damaturu Road is the only axis that Maiduguri and Yobe State have to the other parts of the country, and also links Nigeria with the Republic of Cameroon and Republic of Chad. If this ugly scenario is allowed to go, not only social activities, but business activities will be adversely affected, considering the fact that the economy in the Northeast, particularly in Borno State, which is the epicenter of the Boko Haram insurgent, is already in a state of comatose. And if this single road that will give access to economic activities is challenged, then the economy will completely be grounded to a halt. So it was against this backdrop that this motion was sponsored, and then other colleagues, their names were mentioned, whose names were mentioned in the motion, will also contribute with regard to the security challenges that they are facing in their respective zone and in other parts of the country, so that at the end of the day, the motion will be all-encompassing and holistic enough to tackle the security challenges that we are having across the nooks and crannies of the country. And Mr. Speaker, I also want to add that it's not only the Maiduguri-Damaturu road, even the road Maiduguri-Baga that leads to my constituency is seriously challenged, because the last time when there was an attack in Monguno, we have to use helicopter to go to Monguno, because there is no way we can go by road. There is every possibility the insurgents will ambush us. And then Maiduguri-Biu road is equally challenged. In fact, it has been permanently closed. It was only last week that the Chief of Army Staff directed that the road should be open for vehicular activities. Jito, Maiduguri, Gambaru road. That road is still accessible, but it is done in such a way that about 300, 400 vehicles will congregate for about 1 week. Then they will be escorted by armored personnel carriers, soldiers, and what have you, to Gambaru. You cannot fly the road individually like that. And the vehicles have to congregate for about 1 week. Then soldiers will come and to escort them for the purpose of carrying out economic activity. So this is how serious the situation is, coupled with the recent closure and then the challenges we are facing around the Maiduguri-Damaturu Road, and that is what necessitated this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman Defense.
Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I wholeheartedly endorse what the Chief Whip has said. The fight against the insurgents has waned, and we need to know reasons why this is happening. As a matter of fact, we had contacted the service chiefs through the CDS. They're supposed to come and address the Committee of Defense and relevant committees on the state and progress or otherwise they've made in this fight against insurgency. So this motion has come at a great time. It will also give us the opportunity to deliberate and argue. So whatever resolutions that we reach today, we would like you, my deputy will also raise an amendment to make the resolutions more weighty. So that's what I have to say.
Mr. Speaker, from July State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is really unfortunate that the war against Boko Haram and indeed all the several battles that are taking place all over the country have become what I can describe as an enterprise. It is very, very clear that the dramatic personnel in the war theater in the Northeast are not interested in ending the war, because the war itself has become a very fat cow that is being milked on daily basis, and people are generating a lot of money. Otherwise, there is no reason whatsoever, Mr. Speaker, for the embarrassing reversals of the successes achieved, especially from 2015 to date. Mr. Speaker, part of the resolution of this House must include the total withdrawal of all these armed forces in that area and their immediate replacement with a new breed of soldiers to be deployed immediately, because some of them have overstayed in that place. They are tired of war. They want to go back home. And in line with the tradition of war and the premise, when a soldier is deployed to an area and he's tired, he is replaced immediately. You cannot take a soldier to the war front and leave him there for several years. So, Mr. Speaker, this war has dragged too long. In fact, the civil war lasted for only 3 years. Why should a war involving ragtag, lumping vagabonds last for 7 or 10 years? So it's very unfortunate. So part of our resolution must be the total withdrawal of all the armed forces in that area and their replacement. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, Chief. Mr. Speaker, I want to share one or two perspectives with the story. It is very true that in recent days we have seen heightened attacks from insurgents, even bandits, kidnappers, and what have you. It is really worrisome that even from my state, Mr. Speaker, the things is getting out of hand. That the county chairman and Michigan local government was also murdered by the insurgents. But Mr. Chairman, I want to say that based on the previous speaker, particularly our chairman, it's very, very, very short. But to move all of them out of that place may be counterproductive, Mr. Speaker. Because sometimes you also require experience in those places, people who know the place. So when you move people out completely and replace them with a new set of people, you are unfortunately confusing the fight on terror. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say that because Section 217 of the Constitution of Nigeria allows the President to invite the armed forces, the police, and other security agencies to attend to internal security issues. And that is why we can bring the army, whose traditional function is to safeguard the sovereignty and integrity of the country. But because of the internal crisis, the army are always there to also fight the war. But Mr. Speaker, I want to say that when we were talking about the army to do more, which I agree that they have to do more, we also have to pay more attention also to the police, because that has also been neglected. Because the police need to be trained. Mr. Speaker, I come from the northeast. If you hear Goza Town used to be the training heap of the what do you call them? The mobile force. In fact, Mr. Speaker, Goza Town, the training they get in Goza was even equivalent to what the army gets in other places. But you can see that even Goza Town is a challenge that you cannot even get that easily. So therefore, we have to go back to give the police the required training also and the equipment, so that we must not rely only on the army alone. Because once army win war, it is expected that they should move away and allow the police to take over. But in this case, if you allow the army to go and the police to take over, in fact, the communities will be asking you to bring back the army to that community. I agree, Mr. Speaker, that this decision is timely, that we should support that and allow and ask the military to do more within the confines of the law. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gibson,
the 6 have been deployed to the theater of war. We believe that more should be made, and that is why the budget, the budget exercise that went through, we were not able to get approval for the entire budget that most of these agencies required due to the paucity of funds. So it is in this wise that we said we should invite the service chiefs and the minister to come before us again. Maybe we can consider a contingency arrangement whereby we can kill this insurgency once and for all. We're proposing that we ask them to submit a request of more critical equipment that can nail this matter. They will give them a deadline and they sign off, and we hope that this will, once the monies are approved and disbursed to them and they get the equipment in record time, that this matter can be put to an end. Before we do that, we also need to do a needs assessment. Like he said, they don't have a single patrol vehicle within his federal constituency. We need to find out what the needs assessment is and be able to allocate or encourage them to allocate resources so that this matter can be brought to an urgent end. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, I'm glad that you're already meeting with them. Please, as soon as you are done with the committee, we would like for you to present an actionable report, because there's no point here us debating this and we don't take action. So that report on the needs assessment and what they need will inform part of whatever we do here in the House. Honorable Deputy Chairman, I'll come back to you when we get to this column. So let's just take it as we'll do Honorable Yeleman, Jaha, Reverend, and Honorable Gagdi, but we'll take it bottom up from Honorable Gagdi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I am in full total agreement with you that our military, our men and women in uniform are doing so much out there, and we must continue to appreciate them. It is noteworthy that Honorable Gagdi is a Muslim from Plateau State, and that tells you, the contents of his debate tells you that the war of religion that sometimes afflicts us is not is isolated to a few elements who misunderstand religious issues. Thank you for your contribution, Honorable Shetima. And Honorable Gandhi, you can bring your...
I represent Chibok Damboa Goza Federal Constituency. I'm from Borno State. Mr. Speaker, fortunately still I'm not dead, and I'm being vindicated by the Nigerians and this hollow chamber. The other time I said, without fear of any contradiction, that substantial part of my constituency is still under the occupation of Boko Haram. I equally went further to say that substantial part of northern Borno from my state is still under the occupation of Boko Haram. The following day, some people sponsored some group of charlatans to recognize that I am equally a Boko Haram. I decided not to respond because I know there will be a time where God can vindicate me through either this chamber or through Nigerians. I equally stress that it's not within the outreach or within the job specification of the Nigerian army to look and search for personal identification of an individual through national ID card. I told Nigerians that it has not been provided to everybody. And the requirement of getting national ID card is for you to have indigent letter of any local government, which is very porous. So as far as I'm concerned, it has not been part of their job and it has not been described as part of their responsibility as military officers. Sir, today, as we can see it vividly, whether I was the one that was right and they were wrong, and vice versa, only God can judge that, and Nigerians can equally judge today. Substantial part of areas occupied by Boko Haram in the hitotop point is still under the occupation of Boko Haram. I still maintain my position. Another thing, Your Excellency, I'm even surprised. And I will move as an amendment to this motion, calling on the immediate replacement of the service chiefs in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, when I contested election, I visited all my constituency, and I know the risk I took to follow all these areas. I have sacrificed my life. I am not stupid. I know the consequences of unveiling a masquerade. I may be declared dead tomorrow, but I will be happy to die if my people can live in peace, can go back to their farmlands, schools can be open, people can go to school, so that out of school children can be out of street. Mr. Speaker, we have to tell each other the truth. Nigeria is the country we have, and we have to do everything within our limit as parliamentarians, as legislators, to safeguard the territorial integrity of this country. Just recently, in my constituency, in my local government, in my electoral ward, where I reside, few meters away from Emir's palace, less than 150 meters away from military barrack, few meters away from Central Park, suicide bombers attacked a mosque early morning and killed 3 people. Just recently, between Damaturu and Maiduguri is less than 135 kilometers. A young man of 10 years old beheaded a Christian brother from Plateau who was on his way to school in Maiduguri. He went even to the extent of inciting religious crisis by saying, we are doing this to revenge what your parents did to us or did to our parents in the past in Plateau. All these are strategy by Boko Haram insurgents to incite religious crisis in the country. Failure or inability or refusal to release Leah Sharibu is equally a strategy to incite religious crisis. The pastor that was killed in Adamawa is from my constituency, is from Balala, and Balala is a ward in my constituency of Chibok. This guy is a revered pastor, a man of God. They catch this guy they caught this guy in Michigan and assassinated him. They allow him to do a video at the very beginning to tell Nigerians to come to his rescue. Either federal government, either UN agency, or INGO, or any of the negotiators to come to his rescue by paying some ransom. Nobody cares to do that. At the end of the period, they assassinated that particular pastor, trying to incite religious crisis. So, Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, and I will repeat it, I am not stupid. I know the consequences of unveiling a masquerade. I know what I am saying. I know tomorrow some people can come for me, But I am calling on the immediate replacement, solely removal of all the service chiefs and their immediate replacement with the competent ones. Because the truth of the matter is known to all Nigerians, they have overstayed. And all courses under them are not stimulated to work, they are not stimulated to perform, they are not stimulated to end this war. Mr. Speaker, this is my position. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And my federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I have listened to the contribution made by my colleagues. I almost shed tears. If I tell you what is happening in my federal constituency now, Mr. Speaker, definitely you may likely send a strong team from this parliament to condole my people. Mr. Speaker, in Kebbi State, we are farmers. 90%, 100% farmers. We are businessmen, Mr. Speaker. On Saturday, to be precise, on Sunday, Mr. Speaker, to be precise, there's a big market called Dadinkoa in Kebbi State, in my federal constituency. That market come under attack by kidnappers, heavily armed. They destabilize the business of the market. They destabilize almost everybody in the market. Mr. Speaker, to come to my people who are the farmers, we can't go to the farm, Mr. Speaker, and farm. We are known in Kebbi as rice farmers. We can't go and farm, Mr. Speaker, and farm because the kidnappers follow our citizens, follows my constituents up to their houses and kidnap them immediately after they left their farmers, Mr. Speaker. Farm, Mr. Speaker. To my own surprise, last 2 weeks, one of my constituents called me that I should help. They can't do anything. They kidnapped one old man, almost 80 years, and they requested for 90 million naira. Mr. Speaker, I asked them, why do I get that money to pay? They said, you are in Abuja, you should come back and help us. You should come back and help us. I said, definitely I'm a representative. And the little I can send, I have to confess, I sent money to set that man free. Which is very unfortunate to all of us. I want to join my voice, Mr. Speaker, to inform Mr. President through this hollow chamber. It is high time, Mr. Speaker. It's high time to Mr. President to change the service chiefs. If I don't add my voice into this, I'm a hypocrite. And I'm not a hypocrite, I will never be a hypocrite. We don't have peace in this country. People are set off in religious crisis. People are set off in war zones. We all know what happens or what is happening presently in Northeast. Now it's not Central. Now it's not West. We don't have peace. Mr. Speaker, that's my own contribution. I'm joining my voice to tell Mr. President through this hollow chamber to please, it's high time. We should change these people so that we can have a good architecture of security. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this motion is not only timely, but it's very, very important to our existence as a sovereign nation. Whereas we are talking about security, a lot have been said, and I'm in agreement with substantial number of contributions made by our colleagues. But I have these two or three observations to make. One, Mr. Speaker, I did not subscribe to the approach by our military in the theater. This open-ended war approach. The sector commandants and the theater commandants must be given a delimited period of time within which to report back success and success, progress, and programs. But in the manner within which our military people are approaching this war, it's like there is no time frame within which they can end the war. Two, there is no encouragement, there is no motivation, and there is no punishment for those who failed to carry their responsibilities. This discouraged a lot of men in the field from performing their job. Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, I would equally advise that we holistically look at our information gathering system. Our intelligence gathering in this country still need to be improved. I agree totally that it is not the best time to sit down and discuss our strategy. But at the same time, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, our NIA, our DSS, our CID, and other relevant, including the locals who presuppose to give information about the movement of these criminals. I believe our local government, our state governments, wards, and everybody need to come on board as a true nationalist to help in giving credible information as to how to fight these people. Mr. Speaker, I will give you an example. Just yesterday, Mr. Speaker, 7 people were killed in Plateau. I was privileged with the privilege you gave me to chair the Committee on Police. 2 troops of mobile men have to be deployed to Jos, to Plateau State yesterday, to complement the existing police force in Plateau. While we are trying to send these 2 troops, we equally have a request from Kaduna that they still need an enforcement. The Nigerian police have only 13 helicopters. Only 6 are functioning. Even if you say you deploy only each one to a political zone, to a political zone, whereas you have a problem, they are adequately, I think, not enough to fight these insurgents. And most importantly, our men and the country need to know that we are grateful to God Almighty for His intervention. If for any reason there will be a security out that the president need to do something radical. Whatever we are going to do here, we are going to be guided by our laws. Our limitations are, we are parliament, we speak for the downtrodden, we speak for the Nigerians. But when it comes to implementation, the laws of the land allow other segments of the country, like the executive, to implement. I am truly sure that as a house, as a parliament, we are doing our best. We are discussing these issues. We have Nigerians at heart. But we equally have to call on the executive to please live up to their biddings and do the needful. Whatever it takes, what is most important is the insistent healing for innocent Nigerians have to be resisted, rejected, and objected by all of us. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The committee can embark on that mission or on that task. It will be very important. It will go a long way. Thank you.
Thank you.